Hey, what's up, guys? Here are my predictions for UFC Fight Night, Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivac, number 2, the rematch we've all been waiting for. But without further ado, let's just get into the card. Only got 10 fights, so it made my job a little bit easier. But we're going to start with the early prelim opener of Stephanie Luciano versus Talita Alankar. Now, this is actually a rematch as well, so I guess it's kind of fitting to be on this card. In the first fight, Alankar was able to take down Luciano and kind of control her and win the first 2 rounds. And then she basically just took a beating in the 3rd round because she was exhausted. Alankar is pretty short. She's got good energy on the outside. She loves to wrestle box, punches her way in very well and gets takedowns. But when she can't control you, she seems to just waste energy trying to get more and more takedowns. And on the feet, she doesn't seem super dangerous. Stephanie Luciano, I kind of don't got a good read on her. She seems to like striking, and it's actually not too bad on the feet. She got some good kicks, some decent boxing, some good pressure, and really good cardio. She's a lot younger, too, so I think that's going to be an edge coming into this. I think she's going to learn, but she's only had 5 fights. So that being said, I'm going to have to go with Stephanie Luciano. Honestly, this fight is just like a coin flip, but I think being younger, she's going to be able to turn it on a little bit earlier, and I'm hoping her wrestling got better. So I'm going to go Stephanie Luciano by decision. Moving up the card, we have Jarno Aarons versus Youssef Zalal. This is a very interesting fight. Jarno Aarons is a big guy for the division. He loves his right hand. He doesn't have a whole lot of ways to set it up, but if he lands it, it's a really solid shot. He'll go to the body with it, won't throw a lot of kicks. His wrestling is not great. He does this thing where he doesn't use the cage to get up like a lot of MMA fighters. He wrestles up pretty well. He'll come from guard to a body lock. He'll get butterflies, use the body lock to stand up, but he doesn't seem to know how to use the cage. Youssef Zalal, on the other hand, is actually a really good cage wrestler. He bills himself as a striker, and he's gotten a lot more comfortable striking, but he will also just shoot takedown after takedown after takedown for the whole fight. He's got good kicks, solid boxing. I think since he's come back to the UFC, he looks to have found his stride and gotten a little bit more comfortable in there. I think Jarno Aarons is a live dog, but I just see him make too many mistakes, and his output is a little too low. So I think Youssef Zalal is going to be able to use his jab, keep him on the outside, and if Jarno Aarons gets a little aggressive, I think Zalal is going to be able to take him down. So I'm going to go Youssef Zalal by decision. Moving up, we have Carl Williams versus Jonata Deniz. Jonata Deniz is a knockout artist. He liked to knock people out in kickboxing, and he likes to knock people out in MMA. Not the fastest dude, decent defense, kind of a plotter. He'll kind of just run backwards in a straight line if you start punching on him. But he's got a really good left hook and really good power in his right hand. He'll also go airborne, use some flying knees and stuff. But majority, he likes to put people on the back foot, put their back against the cage, and start letting loose with combinations. And if you fight him like that, you're going to have a tough time. Carl Williams, on the other hand, is a guy who I see getting better every time I see him. His jab's looking better, even though he does have like that Curtis Blade thing where he'll jab and kind of leave it out there. He's not the best combination puncher, but his striking is really just to help set up his wrestling. He is a great wrestler, especially for heavyweight. He'll chain takedowns together. He'll shoot them all fight. He'll press you against the cage. He'll take you out in take you down in space, and he's really good from top position. He really wears on guys. Sometimes he gets caught on the feet, but he looks like he's got a solid chin. So I don't know if Deniz would be able to just sleep him with one punch. And since this is heavyweight, I'm guessing both guys are going to get tired. So I'm going to favor the guy who can grapple. But heavyweight is known for knockout artists, so I wouldn't be surprised if Jonata Deniz gets a knockout. But I'm going to trust Carl Williams. I think his jab and his straight punches will be able to get Jonata to start trying to exchange, and then he'll be able to turn it into takedowns. So I'm going to go Carl Williams again by unanimous decision. Moving up, we have Carol Rosa versus Pannie Kianzad. Carol Rosa is a boxer. She's not great at kicking. She's not the most dynamic, but she's got really good, solid fundamental boxing. She will pressure. She'll constantly be going forward. She seems to have a pretty good chin, but just not the most athletic person you've ever seen. I'll put it that way. Pannie Kianzad is all athletic and not really the greatest skill, but what I like is she'll stink up the fight by just pressing it into the clinch and just kind of trying to win points there. I worry about that if Carol Rosa can land combinations on her, then it's just going to kind of sway the judges, because Carol Rosa will just throw on you. And Pannie Kianzad is not the greatest boxer. She's tough, and she does have decent, serviceable striking. And I think that her footwork is better. So I'm going to pick Pannie Kianzad, even though I don't like this fight. I hate women's bantamweight. It's just such a weird division. But I'm going to go Pannie Kianzad. I think she can outpoint Carol Rosa and just sneak 2 rounds with some takedowns and some clinch control. So I'm going to go Pannie Kianzad by super close split decision. Moving up the card, we have Danny Left Hand to God Barlow versus Nikolai Veretennikov. Danny Barlow is a very dynamic striker. He favors his left side a lot, his left hand to God, obviously. He's got really sneaky ways of landing it. He can just shoot it straight, and he's so fast that he can land it on a lot of guys. Not an amazing jab, but he will use it to find his range. I've seen him jab, and I'm like, oh, nice. He can jab, and then he just stops jabbing and just starts throwing his left hand. I guess he just believes in it a lot, but he's also got some sick head kicks. He's just a really fast, explosive counter striker. Nikolai Veretennikov, I like this guy. He's a bruiser. He goes forward, he puts the pressure, and he loves to go into the clinch, land knees, land elbows. He's got pretty good power on both hands. He's got some good leg kicks. Defensively, he's not the best. He kind of walks into range. He's not like the quickest on his feet, but he's also going to be the same size as Barlow, perhaps even a little bit taller, and he's a kind of a tank. But you saw in the Michael Morales fight, the first round, he was kind of putting it on Morales, but then Nikolai slowed down a little bit, and Morales' speed and length was able to land shots and get away before Veretennikov could answer in combination. Veretennikov also fighting out of King's MMA, so he probably has a natural instinct. As soon as he gets hit, he knows you're in range. He'll start unleashing combinations. And if Barlow is expecting to just knock him out and then get out of there quick, or to just hurt him and not get hit back, he could be in for a tough fight. But I really like what I've seen from Danny Barlow. I think he's tough. Mentally, he seems very sharp, and I think he's going to be able to pick Veretennikov as he comes in and probably get a knockout. So I'm going to go Danny Barlow. I'm going to go second round knockout. I think he carries his power later, and I think the damage is just going to catch up to Veretennikov, and I think he'll end up walking into something. So yeah, I'm going to go Danny Barlow by second round knockout. Next fight, we got Charalampos Grigorian, which is the craziest name I've ever had to say, versus Toshiyama Kazama. Now, Kazama is an interesting guy because I thought he was a grappler, and then he comes into the UFC and he decides to throw hands with Nakamura, I believe it is, and Garrett Armfield, and both guys slept him. Well, Armfield didn't sleep him, but he finished him with strikes on the feet, and he just hasn't looked great, so I don't really know exactly what his game plan is going to be into this fight. Is he going to grapple Grigorian, or is he going to, again, try to stand and trade? But Charalampos Grigorian, he's a big, strong, athletic dude for the division, decent power, good wrestling, but he kind of tired himself out in the last fight against, what's that dude's name from Canada? I forget his name, but yeah, he kind of tired himself out trying to take him down over and over. And on the feet, once he slowed down, he was a lot less dynamic. and you kind of saw the holes in his game. So if Kazama could survive the first round and start taking it late and maybe use his own grappling and his own power punches to kind of get the respect, I think he can win this fight. But it's so tough to pick someone that you've seen get knocked out twice in a row and just make crazy mistakes, like getting hurt and just standing there and trying to trade and not really doing anything different. So I'm going to go Cheryl Lampos Gregorian. I'm going to go by first round knockout. I don't know, but that's a tough one for me. Moving up, we got Alan Nascimento versus Jafal Filho. Now, Jafal Filho is a dog. He throws big power on the feet, and then he shoots great takedowns, and his top control is nasty. He's got knockout power on the feet, and on the ground, he is a submission expert who will ground and pound your face as well. His mount is nasty. His back mount is nasty. On the feet, though, defensively, he's not really that great. He can be hit. He can be hurt. He almost got knocked out by that one guy he fought who he ended up knocking out. But he was getting hit to the body and kind of fucked up. But he came back and won, so that just shows that he's very durable. And Alan Nascimento, what do you say? He is a mini wet blanket monster. He's not even mini. He's actually giant for the division. Super tall, super rangy, tough on the feet. He'll go out there. He went out there with, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on all the names. The giant, Tagir Ulambakov. Nascimento was going toe-to-toe with him for the whole fight and barely lost it on control. Like his kicks on the feet, his boxing was looking good. His knees and his takedowns and scrambling is nasty. And I think he's just on another level than Jafal Filho. I think Filho can have his moments, and he might be able to hurt Nascimento at some point. But I just trust Nascimento's game planning and fight IQ. And I think he's going to be able to control Jafal Filho and probably eke out a unanimous decision. So I'm going Alan Nascimento by decision. Moving up, we got Yana Santos versus Chelsea Chandler. Yana Santos, clinch fighter. She loves to kick from the outside, throw kicks that aren't necessarily threatening, but they do add up points on the judges' scorecard. And then she will literally dive for the clinch. And she wants to hold you in an over-under body lock and throw knees to your body. She will do that for 15 minutes if you let her. Chelsea Chandler, the greatest defensive fighter I've ever seen. She's like, dude, fuck head movement, fuck all this stuff. She got hit and she just turned and ran the other direction. And she like literally ran face first in the cage. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. And for that, I'm picking Chelsea Chandler. No, I'm just kidding. But Chelsea Chandler, good boxing, good pressure. She's a nasty southpaw. You know, she kind of reminds me of a little bit of the J.J. Aldridge, a slow, big J.J. Aldridge. But she's got a nice left-hand counter, a nice right hook. She can be hit, though. But the thing is Yana Santos is terrified of exchanging in the pocket. She's never been that great at it. She's more of a kick you and clinch you kind of girl. At least that's who she's been lately. So if this fight is going to look like anything, it's going to look like Yana Santos versus Carol Rosa, which is Carol Rosa would bomb on her, and then Santos would grab her and push her to the clinch. And then Rosa would bomb on her, and Santos would push her in the clinch. And the judges picked Rosa that day. So I'm going to trust Chelsea Chandler to basically recreate the Carol Rosa fight and win by a super close split decision. Moving up, co-main event, Chep Mariscal versus Damon Jackson. Chep Mariscal is a very well-rounded fighter. He loves to strike on the feet. He's got some sick, clean boxing, good hooks into straights, good body work, good leg kicks, great timing on his takedowns as well. He's just a veteran. He's been there. He's done that. He's tough. He went and fought Trevor Peek and was able to basically dominate him, even though Peek had moments. Mariscal pretty much clearly beat him. He's had some tough fights. Jenkins was kind of beating him before the arm break. He was really struggling with the jab and with just the outside attack of Jenkins. But you see in the last fight against someone as athletic as Morgan Charrier, Mariscal can keep up with them and keep pushing, and in the later rounds, he's still there to fight, which is a big thing. Damon Jackson, tough as nails, a little on the older side, great jiu-jitsu, nasty off his back, nasty if he gets your back or he gets top control. He has got some really smothering top game. He'll smash pass through you, get him out, and kind of beat your ass from top position. His boxing is decent. It's just he can be caught clean by faster, more powerful punchers. He doesn't always get knocked out, but sometimes it's just right there and he goes out. But he's still a tough dude, and if you don't put him out, he's going to be there for all 3 rounds trying to knock you out. So this is a close fight, but I'm going to go Chep Mariscal. I just think he's going to be too quick and also as well-rounded as Damon Jackson. And I think he's just going to be able to control this fight. And even if it gets crazy, I think he's more than happy to be in a crazy fight. Also, I think he can defend Jackson's takedowns. So I'm going to go Chep Mariscal by 3rd round TKO. All right, main event. Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivac, number 2. In the first fight, Sergey Spivac was doing better on the feet, but then Marcin Tybura would just daddy him to the ground, and then Spivac would basically stay there for the whole rest of the round. I think he might have gotten up at one point, but it wasn't looking good. He was basically getting controlled. Now, since then, Spivac has shown that he's been working on his, at least, wrestling. He's gotten some pretty sick takedowns on guys who are admittedly not good wrestlers. But to this day, I think Sergey Spivac's the only grappler to ever beat Derek Lewis. So that's actually a pretty big accomplishment. In his last fight, he just looked like he just got completely flustered by Cyril Gane. And yeah, he just looked like he kind of quit. And that's what I worry about, is that Spivac, he doesn't seem to be the most mentally durable. If shit starts not going his way, he has a tough time psyching himself back up to get in there. Now, Marcin Tybura, on the other hand, is a Polish Chad. This dude is all heart, and he's all toughness, and he's all just making it a kind of weird fight where you think you're winning, and then he comes at you with like these crazy combinations. He's super aggressive, and then he will body lock you and take you down. His top game is really nasty, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get it on Sergey. I think Sergey's wrestling has gotten a lot better. So I'm going to have to pick. Also, on the feet, I think Sergey's improved a little bit more since that fight. His jab has looked way better. His 1-2 has looked a lot better. And I think this time he might be able to actually land it on Tybura and not overcommit and not get taken down and controlled. I think Tybura is a little older at this point, but this is heavyweight, so being older might actually be a bonus for him. But I'm going to trust Sergey Spivac, and I'm going to go by terrible decision. I don't know. I think if anyone gets finished, I would see Spivac maybe dropping Tybura and then ground and pound. And with Spivac, I would see Tybura taking him down and just either TKOing him or getting some kind of weird submission. But yeah, I'm going to have to go Sergey Spivac, and I think it might go all 5 rounds. So that's going to do it for this week. Not the most exciting card, but hey, at least I'm doing it. All right, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Take care.